Welcome to A Matter of Perspective with Judge Derwin Webb. I am Judge Derwin Webb, coming to you from the Fraser History Museum. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've been on board, and then we're happy to be back. We're happy to be joined by one of Louisville's finest, my man, Mr. Derek Cowherd, the Associate Athletic Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the University of Louisville. Brother Cowherd, welcome back. How are you today?
Glad to be with you, Judge. It's been an amazing 14 weeks since I've been back.
You came to University of Louisville as a student athlete. You transitioned to do a lot of other things that we're going to talk about, obviously. But tell me, what made you think about coming to the University of Louisville as a student athlete first?
My dad and my mother and my whole family just were huge Cardinal fans. And truth be told, I followed my sister. My sister came in '87, and I came in, was it 2003 was my year? Nah, it was 1994, and it was just a family. It was perfect. It felt like home, and I didn't think of any other place. I had some other offers, but definitely wanted to be at Louisville.
What stood out at Louisville? Who was the coach at the time?
Snellenberger.
Coach Snellenberger was the coach at the time, and you came in and you were ready to take over the college scene. Tell me about coming into your first few practices at the university.
Now, I wouldn't say I was ready to take over, but I was really just felt like home. And with Coach Snellenberger, I had gone to his camp when I was a sophomore, and I had received some offers from other schools like UK and some WAC schools because I had just hurt my knee my senior year. So I still really appreciated that. I had some baseball and basketball offers as well in AIA. So when I was there, I was just kind of just trying to get my, that first year after your knee surgery, you're not really sure on it. Mm-hmm. But the second, you're right. And I felt really good that second year before another injury kind of ended my career.
You went into academics. Mm-hmm. Tell me what the transition was like for you.
My father and mother always instilled in me how you had to be a dual threat. You had to be a great student and student athlete. If you're going to do one well, you can do both, so you better, or you won't do either. Mm-hmm. So I found a home there too. So the people were very inviting and welcoming, and it was a whole new world that was opened up to me because it was fun. So I credit Marvin Mitchell for seeing something in me, and of course Jenny Sawyer in admissions as a graduate assistant. They both saw something in me that I didn't necessarily see, and the rest is history. I just tried to work as hard as I could for the students and just never let anybody down, and have a really good personal relationship with everybody I worked with or for, and it's brought me here.
Well, I tell you this, I remember having that conversation with you about you being an assistant AD, and I told you, you can do more than what I was doing. I remember having that conversation, and you were at UofL at the time, and then LSU came along. Tell me how you go from UofL to LSU.
Well, it goes back to Marvin. Marvin mentioned to me that, we had a very high-performing staff, and many of those folks are now senior associate ADs or actually directors of whole programs. And we were just talking about it, like that wasn't our aspiration back then. We just wanted to be really good academic counselors and assistant directors and help these kids graduate and have a life outside of sport after they were done. And little did we know, we grew a juggernaut of a program. Like, I could name 10 people that are doing it at the highest level right now, Power 5, all the way down to, NAIA. So I got the call from someone who was interested and I didn't apply. For most of the jobs I've gotten, I've never applied until they forced me to.
Right.
So Marvin said, we have a great lineup. We have 7 people in front of you in seniority. I can't move you ahead. You're working really hard. You're doing really well. Your teams are doing well, but I can't move you up. People are happy. I can't upset the organizational chart like that. And I respected the heck out of his decision to say that. He said, so take a look. Here's some options out there, but I'd hate to lose you, but take a look. And without that permission, I don't know if I would have looked. But I was at a conference and someone said, hey, there's Tomas over there interviewing people on the low in the corner for a football position they might have open. You might be able to slide in and get an interview with him. So I said, sure, I'll do that. So I went to Tomas and I said, I heard you might have a position open, kind of in the market, but not necessarily. Can you tell me a little bit about it? So little did I know everyone knew about it. I had no clue that it was open. At the time, they were ranked number 2 or 3 going into the season. And actually, by the time I started with them, they were number 1, and I had no clue. So, but I met the coach, I met the team, and I'd never been recruited by a SEC school like that. And they recruited me all over again. So I think the vice chancellor called me, 23 people on the staff called me, the head coach called me and said, we want you. And I said no. And why did I say no? I have no clue. But the money didn't really make a lot of sense to move, and the title wasn't there yet. So they called me back the next day. 8 more people called, and the money was right. So I went, and in 2 weeks I was a LSU Tiger. So met my wife. We had a son like 6 years later after I was there, and then, oh man, it's just been a whirlwind since then.
What made you come back home? They say you never go home. You did. So what made you want to come back?
I'm a pretty philosophical guy, so there's that question of when is it time or is it ever time to come back home? And it was a call. And my mentor was Neely Bendapudi, so the former president. I was in the NCAA Pathway program, which is it's really an awesome program put on by the leadership development arm of the NCAA. So they select 23 folks that they feel are senior level administrators that are ready to be an AD within the next 2 to 3 years. So their charter is to do that. They have faculty come in. Peter Roby is probably the number 1 AD maker in the world. If people don't know that name, Peter Roby, Dartmouth, awesome. His team would be here tomorrow, so I hope he's here with the team. But he's trained so many people to just be thoughtful, introspective, and really first you have to know yourself. So to answer your question, I had to ask myself and my wife first if I could come back home. And Dr. Bendapudi said, we need you back here. And then Vince called maybe several months later, but it was like after the summer. He just wanted to talk. And after 30 minutes, we were already plotting and planning on how to make it happen. He was like, well, you're not gonna get it easy. You have to apply, you have to win it. And I was like, hey, let's do it. So I came back. I'm so glad I'm back, and just seeing the faces and the people, and there's a few people that haven't aged a bit, and then there's some people that you just see the eyes and you connect and you're like, oh, that's you, how are you? And it feels so heartwarming to see so many good people that are still here cheering and rooting and working hard for the Cards.
Man, I just want to thank you for coming out. I know we have talked for years in all the locations you've been. Man, as someone has said, you're a real one. You are a real dude. I appreciate everything you bring to the university, this community, and to brothers like me, man. We need to have good brothers around here, and I consider you not only a good brother, but a good friend too. So I appreciate you coming on this show. Appreciate you coming back, taking care of my university, and being who you are, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. You mean so much to this city. You're doing some wonderful work in the court system, providing hope to a lot of kids and families and parents. And I don't know where we'd be without somebody like you that cares truly and deeply about the community. So
man, I appreciate that. As we like to close out every show, a little phrase that we always come up with. It doesn't matter what I think. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you say. At the end of the day, it's all a matter of perspective. Brother Cowherd, thanks for being here today.
Nice, thank you.